We get our morality in spite of religion. We truly get our morality in spite of religion. Because I cannot think of, and this is what Christopher Hitchens has said, you cannot tell me one thing or that you can do as a Christian that I cannot.
So Catholic traditionalists, you're asking us to join the live stream. That's not what we do. It's not you specifically. It's just, this isn't the conversation. This isn't a debate with Christians. Although I do appreciate your interest and I appreciate you watching, and you may not have been here at the beginning of the conversation. We're not here to bash religion. We're going to do it by the very nature of the discussion we're having, which means we're going to offend some people, and we're going to find things that we don't particularly like, or we, mock is probably not the right word, but I'm sure you'll take that as such. But this isn't the conversation. There's plenty of other channels out there. That's what they want to do, is they want to have that debate. I'm not looking for the clicks that come with this fiery debate. And I don't mind having a civil conversation, and you're welcome. And I actually would encourage you, throw some of those comments in when this gets reposted. Put some comments there. I'll go in there and address. I mean, I won't spend all day doing it. But I don't mind having a civil conversation with people. And I'm sure Mike, the other Mike, he wouldn't mind responding to those questions either, because we've gone through these things and we're not angry people. We just don't believe what I'm assuming you believe as a Catholic. And Mike was Lutheran. I was Episcopal. So we probably have a lot of the same core that we grew up on. We just went different directions, and it's no problem. But again, I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you commenting. I really do. I'm not being disingenuous when I say that. I really actually do. We're just not going to get into that. And we're actually at the very tail end of the conversation as well. I did have one sort of different question. It's slightly different from what we just talked about, which is what you would tell yourself. But if you were to meet someone now, someone just like you did, is watching this video, tomorrow or a year from now or whenever, and you ran and he sees what you're saying, and I'm having those same thoughts. What would you say to that person?
I think I would just ask the question, if the person is questioning their belief, I'm understanding that they're starting from a point of belief and falling away from it. Mm-hmm. So, or the other option, which is quite likely, they had no experience with religion, and now for some reason religiosity has come up in their life. I would ask that person to look at what is real, what is quantifiable, what is measurable, what stands on its own without absurd, and I mean this, absurd or magical thinking.
Yeah.
Magical thinking and absurdity does not come into play for me. I may do absurd things. I have done absurd things, but when it comes to my moral fabric, magical thinking is right out.
Yeah.
Absurdity is right out.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a few things to say before we wrap up. Sure. And that is, I firmly believe, and if anybody ever wanted to talk more about this, I would be willing to do it, but I don't know that this is really the place for that. We get our morality in spite of religion. We truly get our morality in spite of religion. Because I cannot think of, and this is what Christopher Hitchens has said, you cannot tell me one thing that I can do that you can do as a Christian that I cannot.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
And at the same time, there are things that you are commanded to do by your God which are absolutely abhorrent and repulsive to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not have any part of it.
Yeah.
And those are commandments. Those are things that are commanded by our God. Quick question. Who looks at a brand new baby boy and says, yeah, let's cut some skin off that penis?
Yeah, that's never.
All right. And I'll back off right there.
Yeah. That's yeah, or anything else that is a command, to split the baby in half, kind of stuff. All these things that we do, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all, again, we would obviously disagree with it. Catholic traditionalist is asking me. I'm not even getting into it, but he said, no, I can prove God. Put me up on that. No, man.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I appreciate.
So Catholic traditionalist, I do want to speak just for a moment.
Sure.
It's important to understand that while I realize how passionate you are and that you may feel that the hand of God has come and touched you in some way, shape, or form in your life, that there is no evidence. There is absolutely nothing that amounts to evidence,
right,
for any God at all. And there is. And I have to compliment you, and I have to. You're doing something that's very important, and that is you're very deeply invested in your belief, and I respect that. But at the same time, we have to get rid of magical thinking, and we have to get rid of the absurdity. We cannot include the God of the gaps inside of our moral philosophy. We can't tell someone that they are born flawed and then command them to be well. What is that? Come on now. So, but I do see what you're saying when you say that you can refute what we're saying. It just has never happened.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen until something comes either out of the sky or shows up on TV or whatever and proves that it actually exists.
Yeah, and I said this earlier, and I absolutely mean it. If a God exists that knows all, sees all, that sort of God that most people believe in, then that God knows what it would take to make me believe, which may not be what it makes you, Mike, or Blueberry Muffin, or Larry, or anybody else. It could be different to all of us. That's fine. But that God would know that. If he knows where my keys are, and he knows where the red lights are, and he knows what job I really wanted, then he certainly, and I say he, I'm defaulting there, but that they would certainly know what it would take to convince me. And thus far, I'm either unimportant because he hasn't bothered to do it, or unable to do it, or they do not exist. And I'm going to bet on they do not exist. If I'm standing at the pearly gates and I bet wrong, then well, okay. But I'm going to take the risk, right?
I'm not interested in, Christopher Hitchens said it, I'm not interested in living in a spiritual North Korea.
Exactly. I agree with you. Let's end on Hitchens. And also one quick thing to Blueberry Muffin. Thanks again. You've watched all the episodes and been a great series. Thanks. I do appreciate it. And thank you for watching. And I hope you will tune into the next one.